Good morning. So I thought I'd do a quick before my SMP treatment. This is before. There it is. You can already see. Look, it's time to go. Time to say goodbye. Exactly. So there's your before. Let's prepare ourselves for a shock. So yeah, here we go. First session. Got another one booked in a week's time to build up the density and then also slightly darker pigment. The guy didn't want to go too dark because my hair's so blonde. It's like quite unusual for SMP to be this blonde. So we've gone with like one pigment so far to sort of like start building up and then feathering down the sides, which is what he's done. And then on the second session, we're going to see how it heals and then add a slightly darker shade to the top here to give it more density. And then, as you can see, the hair's still quite long on the top here, but you wanted to see what sort of color it was like growing out, I think. So I'm leaving it like that for the time being. And then once the second session's done, I think I'm just gonna obviously shave it down completely, like to the nub, whatever. So then it should look okay. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it so far. You can see that. Filled out more density on the crown around the back. What's that looking like? Very pink, very red. But yeah, I just think it's gonna suit. Well, this is it. It's not a choice, is it? Male pattern baldness. Everybody'd have, long, luscious locks of hair if they had a choice, but it's not a choice, unfortunately. So yeah, embrace the baldness, but then also make an effort and try and think of what you can do. Hair transplants aren't an option, so SMP, let's give it a go. And because it's so fine underneath the first dermal layer, rather than all the tattoos that I've got, they're deeper, they're under like loads of layers, so it's more difficult to laser off. This can be lasered off in like one session, and I've seen the proof of that. It's like, and it's gone. And apparently for laser tattoo artists, it's the most satisfying type of laser because it's just one session, one and done, and it's gone. So there's not really like that much panic about it. If it does go too dark, then it starts looking unnatural, then yeah. But so let's just try and get close on it. So yeah, it's just like the base layer basically, so to feather in where a hairline would be. Yeah, I mean, you can already, if you get really close up, and because my hair's so like blonde, you're going to see the difference. But once the second session's done, I think, and people are me at a distance, and for the confidence it gives you, I think it's worth it. So there we go. So this is after session 2. It's been about 4 days now since I had it done. I was a bit worried because this section at the front here looked a little bit too dark, and I think the guy was a little bit worried as well because he started doing it darker, and then he said, actually, I'm going to change to a lighter pigment again around the sides, because the first session was so light that I think he wanted to just go darker. But yeah, anyway, so I've been a bit panicked over the week. He assures me that it will lighten up by the 7th day, but it does. I'm getting more used to it now. I think it was just initially the shock, but it does like blend into my hair quite well. There's a close-up of the top. You can see that. So it's like the base layer, and then a darker layer on top, and then going down into the sides to sort of blend it in. And it looks okay when I leave this sort of little bit of fuzz on the top still, but I shaved it down to like a 1, not like a 0, and it looked quite good actually. So this is growing back a little bit now, but there we go. So the redness is gone, but yeah, I'm quite happy with the effect of that hairline. I think it looks quite good. I'll show you in a different light here as well. Might look pretty much the same, doesn't it? But yeah, there we go. So also, I was a bit worried that this was too harsh of a hairline. I think he might have overdone it a little bit, like on the front, because it was a lot softer than this, and I think he just got a bit carried away. But it doesn't look too bad actually. Close up, it doesn't look like a harsh line, but it's just from a distance at this angle, in some light. So this light here, it looks like I've just basically got a grey marker pen and coloured my head in with a big straight line. So I was panicking a little bit, thinking I'm gonna have to have it lasered off, but I think we might be okay. I'll give you an update after 7 days when he says it should have lightened up to its final like pigment. So another update. I met up with the SMP artist yesterday and he had a look at my scalp after the second session, how it's healed exactly a week now. And he said it's actually, he's not happy with how dark this front section is here. So I didn't realize this, but he's got some like this saline solution, I think it's called like Hi-Fi or something like that, which you put in the tattoo gun and you tattoo over the top, and it raises the pigment, it lightens the pigment up. So he's going to lighten the pigment of this front bit and then add more not darker pigment, but the light pigment to blend it in down the sides and on the crown, because all of this section is healed up quite lightly. It's just this front section hasn't. If I zoom in a bit more, there we go, you can see. So he's going to carry on blending this down the sides and on the crown more. You can see that there. Because yeah, at the moment, and also I think bring just a little bit down into the temple area here, because at the moment when you look at it like that, it looks like quite a harsh grey line. Well, I've got used to it over the week, and I'm sort of more happy with it that I've got like a hairline there. And if I keep it at 1 millimeter, then it doesn't look too shocking in some lights. But then it just, some angles, it can look a bit mad. Yeah, but I didn't realize about this, that you can actually lighten it up so without having laser. So let's see what happens next week, and you can do both in the same session. So you can tattoo the saline solution to lighten to take the pigment out of this and darken the rest down in the same session. So we'll do a 4th update or 5th update, whatever it is. So there you go. Yeah. So here's a 3rd and final update from the 3rd SMP session. As you remember from the last time I gave you an update after the 2nd session, I was left with this sort of like dark grey patch here, and the rest had lightened up a lot. At that point he hadn't blended the sides down or filled out the rest of it, so I was a bit worried about it, and he wasn't happy with it either. So he was going to lift it up a bit with some saline solution, which you tattoo over the top, and it sort of brings some of the pigment out to lighten it a bit. But in the end, over the week, it had sort of lightened itself, so we didn't actually do that. So all we did yesterday was fill out the crown and the top a lot more, and then blend the sides of the temples more so, and like blend it into the sides so it looks more like a fade. Because my hair's so light at the sides, it was just like left. I mean, it's a bit red at the moment still, because I only had it done yesterday, but that's the result so far, and I'm pretty pleased with it actually now. Well, I'm very pleased with it. Like I feel completely different after the 2nd session. So here we go. It's the 1st session. I was like, amazing. I can see a hairline again, because you can see where there's like a little tuft of hair there, and then it sort of like started around here. So I was pretty pleased at seeing a hairline. I thought, oh, this looks cool. And the 2nd session, I left feeling a bit like distraught. It was too dark, like, and oh no, this hopefully this lightens up. And then I didn't really want to go and see people for like a few days until it had lightened up. But and I was a bit anxious about that and a bit worried, thinking I'm gonna have to get it lasered off. But then after this session, I feel like completely fine again, and sort of like feel my confidence is back. So yeah, so that's the journey really. This will lighten up again over the course of the next like 5 days, so maybe I'll do like a final video to show you how it's lightened up, the very final result. But yeah, that's my hair loss journey, my SMP journey. There's a different light in there for you. But yeah, I don't think it's overly too like dark or too like jarring to see with like my fair hair, and I'm pretty pleased with it. Like, I'm quite liberated now. I don't have to like keep sort of brushing my like thinning hair over and combing it and trying to like avoid gusts of wind. So Yeah, I think this was a much better decision than trying to have a hair transplant and then have another hair transplant when the first one doesn't work so much, and I carry on receding because I don't want to take finasteride and minoxidil for the rest of my life. So yeah, so there we go. Any questions, leave them down below, because I've been on a bit of a journey with it, and I've sort of had to like educate myself with SMP and like learn quite a bit about it myself to know if I'm getting the right thing done and how the layers build up and what sort of pigments to use, and look at a load of wrong cases and bad SMP to actually figure it out, like what would look best for me, and in terms of hairlines as well. That's another good point as well. Like you shouldn't ever have, if you raise your eyebrows, and I've got like quite a wrinkly forehead, you shouldn't ever have any like your hairline start below the wrinkles. So the last wrinkle, it should be above that, obviously. So there we go. And they usually say like 4 fingers is about where the hairline should start.